Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Do you feel like you're stuck in some kind of identity crisis? Like something's missing? Or like there's this invisible wall holding you back? And then you start asking yourself, is this it? Is life really just about going through the motions? Well, Carl Jung believed that it's in your hands to write your own destiny, no matter the situation. Sounds like a breakthrough from some kind of mental prison, right? So let's talk about how you can start uncovering what's really going on beneath the surface and how to begin rewriting your story. What is Jungian wisdom? In the first half of the 20th century, a Swiss psychiatrist named Carl Jung came up with the idea that the key to real transformation doesn't lie in searching for answers outside of ourselves, but rather by diving into our unconscious mind. Jung saw the psyche as being made up of three main parts: the ego, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. The ego is what you are consciously aware of, the thoughts, feelings, and memories that make up your everyday experience. But what really stands out is your unconscious. It might sound a bit out there, but Jung actually worked with patients using this concept, which he called Jungian therapy. The idea is that the unconscious isn't just some hidden part of a person. It's actually a source of wisdom and guidance that can help one grow mentally and emotionally. This therapy especially works for people like us, the ones who are deeply affected by the thinking of family, friends, and societal standards, which eventually limit our thinking. Over time, this kind of thinking can seriously limit what we believe is possible for ourselves. We get stuck in a cycle, and no matter how hard we try, we keep hitting the same walls. It's like there's this invisible barrier between where we are and where we want to be. And in a way, this all ties back to something called limiting beliefs. Many of the thoughts that hold us back in life aren't loud or obvious. They're quiet, deeply rooted beliefs we carry about ourselves, others, or the world around us. These are known as limiting beliefs, and more often than not, they operate beneath the surface in the unconscious mind. They're usually shaped by early life experiences, childhood conditioning, or societal expectations. Beliefs like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve love, or success is for other people, not me. While subtle, these beliefs can be incredibly powerful. They can create cycles of self-doubt, anxiety, and fear, ultimately influencing how we show up in our relationships, careers, and daily lives. One particularly common limiting pattern is people-pleasing, the belief that your worth is tied to how others perceive you. Over time, it can lead to chronic self-neglect and burnout, individuation process. Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." That one line captures the heart of what he called the individuation process, the journey of looking within to heal, grow, and reconnect with who we truly are. It's about becoming whole by bringing together all the different parts of ourselves, even the ones we've pushed aside after years of pain, shame, or simply trying to fit in. In the first half of life, most of us are focused on building our lives, creating a stable career, a home, relationships, and a sense of identity. It's a time centered around external goals and figuring out our place in the world. But Jung believed the second half of life is where things shift. It's less about proving ourselves to the outside world and more about turning inward, starting to question, reflect, and explore what's going on beneath the surface. That's where the individuation process really begins. By the time we reach adulthood, we usually feel like we know who we are. But Jung pointed out that this self-image is often incomplete. It's shaped by what we consciously know about ourselves, while so much more remains hidden in the unconscious. Those unseen parts our insecurities, desires, instincts, make up what Jung called the shadow. Individuation is about recognizing and bringing those unconscious parts into the light. It's a journey of becoming a fuller, more authentic version of yourself. Jung called it coming to selfhood or self-realization. To make this deep concept more relatable, Jung outlined 4 main stages of the process. Shadow work, integrating the anima animus, facing the persona, and encountering oneself. Shadow work. Jung's path to inner growth. Among Jung's many contributions to psychology, shadow work is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. It's based on the idea that real change doesn't happen by focusing only on the positive, but by bringing the hidden parts of ourselves into the light. As Jung famously said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Shadow work is all about digging into those hidden parts of ourselves, the shadow side we usually try to ignore or push away. It's the emotions, traits, and memories we were taught weren't acceptable, but it's also the strengths and potential we never fully claimed. Jung believed that every limiting belief we carry comes from somewhere. There's always a root to it. And shadow work helps you trace those beliefs back to their origin. You get to feel through those old wounds, understand them, and finally let them go. One of Jung's quotes that really hits deep is, "If you feel inferior without having any real reason, it means that you are confronted with the shadow of an unknown superiority." That belief of "I'm not good enough" might actually come from a time you've long forgotten. Maybe when you were constantly compared to a friend or a sibling. And now, without even realizing it, that belief has rooted itself deep inside you. But when you start looking into those hidden parts of yourself, your shadow, you begin to see things differently. You realize that your light was always there, just buried under old comments and forgotten memories. And that confidence you once thought made you look too much or arrogant, it actually becomes something that draws people in, something that feels like you. You start to see these beliefs are not really you. They're just things you picked up along the way, and the best part is you can let them go. What should one do? This kind of introspective journey can be tough, sure, but it's also incredibly rewarding. It takes time, but getting to know yourself, and even enjoying the process, doesn't have to feel heavy or clinical. Shadow work isn't just something from a random psychology book meant to overwhelm you. You can start simply with everyday habits, just seen from a new perspective. Shadow work can start with the simplest things. Just approach it with a bit more awareness. One of the easiest ways to begin is to write it out. Take a few minutes and just jot down the thoughts or beliefs that keep coming up. That's journaling. You don't need a fancy system. Writing prompts that spark introspection can shine a light on those beliefs and behaviors you didn't even realize you were carrying. The more raw it is, the more healing it becomes. Another way to explore shadow work is through visualization, and then actually having a little dialogue with your shadow. Jung called this active imagination because you're basically having a conversation with a part of your psyche, your shadow. Visualize them as a character. Then ask your questions, express your feelings, and let them respond without filtering. Just see what comes up. You might be surprised at how honest and insightful those inner conversations can get. And if you think this sounds a little absurd, maybe even silly, trust me, you're not alone. Many psychologists and psychiatrists, just like Jung, emphasize that the unconscious is the biggest game changer. Anima animus concept. One aspect of the unconscious he explained through the concepts of anima and animus. The anima represents the feminine aspect of a man's personality. while the animus is the masculine counterpart within a woman's psyche. These concepts offer a powerful explanation for individuals who are often considered rebellious by society. These influential parts of your unconscious shape how you think, feel, and relate to others. By becoming aware of them and integrating them, you can overcome limiting beliefs. For instance, a woman taught to always be nice might find that connecting with her inner animus helps her set boundaries and speak up. Similarly, a man taught to hide his emotions might connect with his anima and learn to express vulnerability without shame. Understanding these concepts can help you recognize projections and stop blaming others for what's actually happening within yourself, the self. The next stage in Jung's process of individuation is the self, the archetype of wholeness. At this point, your consciousness moves beyond a limited perspective to a much broader, timeless one. This is where your whole self emerges after integrating both your anima and animus archetypes. Your conscious and unconscious finally align, and you begin to connect with your truest, most authentic self. The part of you that isn't shaped by fear, ego, trauma, or society's expectations. This stage frees you from people-pleasing behaviors, and you stop worrying about what others think. In fact, your ego no longer has control over you. You realize that you are so much more than your fears and old patterns. You no longer feel the need to prove anything. You simply are, and that's enough. You let go of beliefs rooted in old pain or the opinions of others because they no longer match who you've become. Isn't this what we all long for? So, with Jung's wisdom, overcome your limiting beliefs and let inner peace find you. That wraps up today's video. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Only if you're not ready to meet your true self through our content. Thanks for watching.